Hello, welcome to Everyday Experts. I am your host, Poeta Guasan, Sir Joker, Achille, Joker, Achille, Sir Achille. I have a lot of names. You can call me Joker. Today I'm Joker Kami. Have a very intriguing and interesting young woman who is going to be my guest tonight. I met her through Rachel, and we both used co-branding for marketing and stuff like that, and web design. And Meena is launching, building, developing her own massage empire. But if that was all, that would be a lot. But there's more. She's a massage therapist. She is a mother. She's a wife. She has many things. Her massage service is very unique and very specialized. And more importantly, she is working on growing a business. So as she described herself, a birth doula, a licensed massage therapist, all about the wifedom, the motherhood. She's a lot of many wonderful things. She's very shy, and we're going to keep our show to about an hour tonight because she has two little ones, and she's going to spend time with her husband, and all that stuff is amazing and wonderful. Adversity is the word that comes to mind when I think of what Meena has been through in her life. It's a state or instance of serious or continued difficulty or misfortune. She's faced a lot of adversity. She deals with a lot of adversity, still been through a lot of things. Welcome to Everyday Experts, the wonderful, the amazing Meena.
Hi, thanks for having me.
How you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. I like your professional answer. I'm well. So there's a lot of stuff to get to. Okay. And not a lot to get into it. So the most important question that I ask is always the first question. All right? It's a weird one, though.
Uh-oh.
If you could be a vampire, a werewolf or wolf, a zombie, a ghost, a serial killer, or a witch, which one would you be and why? I can repeat them if you need me to.
I think I'd be a witch.
Ooh, the massage bruja. Why would you be a witch? I like it.
I think I'm close to it now. Like, at least anyway, people. Well, my elder daughter, she sees me mix up potions with like all these essential oils and base oils, and I have some. I guess sometimes I use acupressure on my clients, and they're like, "What is this?"
Ooh.
More pain.
I love it. So, the first question I want to ask is, how did you get into the very specific genre of being a birth doula, a massage therapist for, I believe, do you do postnatal and prenatal or just?
I do postnatal and prenatal.
Okay. How did you get into that?
So first off, I started off with massage therapy 7 years ago almost.
Oh.
At first, I thought it was like, okay, it's something I wanted to do medicine, and I thought like, oh, I can start this because I was having trouble and I needed to graduate, I needed to work, and then I was like, I'll just pick up afterwards. But in the meantime, I can hold myself with this degree, and I liked it. I liked it enough to like stay with it. And then I was fascinated. I always knew that anatomy and physiology was something that interested me. And then at the time, I was recovering after having my first daughter, and I
Mm-hmm.
remember during the pregnancy, I had, um, sciatica, or I thought
Oh.
I had sciatica, and if there are any moms watching and they have had kids, like, or they're going through it now, they probably feel it. It's like nerve pain shooting down the leg. And at any moment while they're walking, it's like their ankle just twists and it's just really painful.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but at the time, doctors were saying like, "Oh, we can give you muscle relaxants. You could just stay
Mm.
home and just rest. Take it easy until the baby is out, and it'll go away." And I was like, "Okay, let me go try and get a massage." And I remember I had such difficulty getting a massage because my belly was huge. People were,
Mm.
like, afraid to touch me because they were like, "This belly looks explosive. We don't do prenatal anymore."
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've had that experience. So,
Mm. So
um,
you've had people that, so it's hard to find prenatal
at the
massages.
time, it was hard, and I felt like that was something that would have helped me a lot. I didn't wanna
Mm-hmm.
take, like, medication for pain. I just wanted, like, something that would help fix fix it.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's temporary, just something that will,
Mm-hmm.
you know, a quick fix. And then I thought while I was in massage school that this was something I was gonna do. And I'm Indian, and in Eastern culture, after or most Eastern culture anyway, after a woman gives birth, the whole family and the whole society surrounds them and helps them recover. Like, everyone gets together, they're, like, offering food, the mom gets, like for 40 days, she gets, like, a massage every day, she gets her belly binded, she gets healthy food, someone's there helping her with the baby, she gets all of that, and here, it's like a woman gives birth, and she's expected to soon after pick up and continue, and she doesn't really get the postpartum massage. Here the doctors say, like, you have to wait 6 weeks before you can do anything. And, I challenge that because if it's a C-section, yes, 6 weeks is necessary, but if it's like a normal vaginal birth, then do you really have to wait 6 weeks?
Mm.
Um, of course, the massages won't be a deep tissue, it would be more like a Swedish massage.
Mm.
Light work. It'll be a little bit of abdominal work that will help with the uterus shrinking back and having the tone back so that as she
Mm.
heals, she doesn't get lower back pain.
Wow.
Um,
I need that.
but then 4 years into my massage practice, I had a couple of clients that were expecting babies, and I realized they had so much anxiety around it. And then I was meeting a lot of other women who were expecting, and it was like one thing I heard was that they were told that they have to check for all these things, and every time they have to go to the hospital or doctor, they have to see so many doctors and they have to see so many people, and it's like they
Hmm.
might as well just walk around naked and and they're not really getting the help that they need. And then
And
they
that's not, and that's what got him into the trouble in the first place.
that's what
Walking around naked. That's
I
what got him into
guess.
trouble in the first place.
So I I found out that I could actually get certified as a doula and incorporate it into my practice in New York. So I was like, okay, this is what I'm gonna do.
That's a lot. So, how do you feel? And this is a sidetrack for 2 seconds. How do you feel about hospitals changing their policies about, discharge after birth? It used to be you get 3 days, which wasn't a lot.
Right.
Now, when my ex-wife had my daughter, I want to say we were there probably like a good 3, 4 days. I remember they were like, all right, time to be a parent. And we were just like, oh, oh, we're not ready for this. And now it's, I want to say, what is it, a day and a half?
Yeah, it's like as soon as you give birth, if everything's normal, you get to go home right away. Um, everyone's different. Some
Mm-hmm.
women might welcome it, some women may need the extra help, but I feel like it's a bit rushed.
Right. Bit. Mm-hmm.
It's a bit rushed, I'm not gonna lie, especially if they're going home and they don't have that support around them, if they have like previous kids or if they have other
Hmm.
things to do, they have to jump right into real life as well as like handling a baby
Hmm. And if you
while
don't,
recovering.
and trying to recover, if you don't, I remember after our second baby, my ex-wife, she had a C-section, so I think we might have waited the full 6 weeks before she went back to work. I would think I was off for 2, but after 6 weeks, the babies were in daycare because we didn't have. I mean, um, he might have went with my mom for a little bit, but then she just couldn't physically do it after a while,
Right.
and then it's like, oh, okay. But my question is, do you think that the decrease in time and attention and the lack of support has led to the increase in postpartum depression? Or do you think it's a causality?
I feel like it's a causality of society and the way we handle things overall. I don't think it's like the increase or decrease. It's just the lifestyle that we live in this city. There's too much that we have to keep up with, right?
Right.
Um, and if we don't have that support, we have to look for it. There's also the finances to consider. There's like family. If we don't have family around, it's even harder.
Really hard.
Yeah,
First of all, we're in New York. New York is expensive as shit.
it's expensive. It's also lonely.
Yeah, it's lonely. So we'll come back to your amazing craft in a little bit. I want to jump into some of the things that I'd like to talk about, cultural wise, because um, you grew up in the Bronx until you were 11, correct?
Mhm.
And then you were sent to India.
Yeah.
And as you told me, it was quote unquote culture shock. And it was so different because a lot of the stories you have being transplanted from your natural country to the US and it's culture shock. How is it in reverse?
So a lot of times you'll hear like it's like you said, you'll go from the other country to the US, but my parents were very traditional, so
Hmm.
they decided that at least my dad was more traditional. My mom was I'm not sure.
A
She
little
was a
more
little
progressive.
open-minded, but also she was like she wanted to listen to my dad. She didn't want to
Hmm.
upset him or anything. And in his culture, it was more like the girls always were married off to the person the family picked.
Hmm.
Actually, it's for the boys too. So the idea behind me going to India at 11 and moving there was to learn the culture and adapt to living there and marrying a guy over there eventually
Hmm.
and potentially living there, staying there with him and his family and a
Wow.
life there.
That must have been scary to, be sent to another country that's just diametrically different than the United States.
Yes.
And you said it was an older, like an old school village. It was kind of like
It
separate.
was very old school village.
So you're not going to like a hybrid, like the capital where there's probably
Yeah, it
bricks
was
and
a
boats.
village where you wake up at the crack of dawn, you do some gardening, you get, like, milk from a farmer, and you cook, like, everything there, and, um, you wait for a van to come pick you up with a whole bunch of other kids, and you just go to school like that and take a van, same crowd, and come back home.
Wow. So what was, and I know you said it was culture shock, but what was the most shocking thing about it? What do you think was the hardest thing to adjust to?
I think it was the mentality.
Mm.
The one thing I struggled with was, like, growing up here, my mom was like, "Okay, you have to listen to me, you have to get straight A's in school, and you can" and she was hanging out with her friend, like, my best friend, and her mom was my mom's best friend, and we were always hanging out, and her mom was very, like she was a strong feminist, and she would
Mm.
say, like, "We
Strong.
girls are gonna be very independent, they're gonna learn to take care of themselves, this was something very important," and I thought my mom was on board with that because at least, being around them so much, I figured this was the plan, right? We
Right.
dream big and we follow it. Um, but then going over there, I remember this particular event where I'm in, um, I guess it's equivalent to high school.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the ninth grade, and these girls, they're like 15 or 16, and they were giggling in the back of the van, and they were just talking about like, oh, how's the guy? And what does he do? Where does he live? Is he close by? Or are you
Mm-hmm.
gonna live with your family? Or all these kind of things. Like, do you like him? Does he like you? And I'm like, what's it matter?
Right.
What's it matter? Like, if he likes you or if you like him. And then they explained to me, like, okay, when we turn 18, then we're supposed to get married and um, follow through with that.
Right.
And I was like, what about college? What's the point of going to school? I had questions. I was like,
Of
why
course.
did you go to school? And why did you have to get like above 95 in all of your classes and be like super smart if you're just going to be live the rest of your life at the mercy of a man? Like,
Live the rest of your life. I like that. At the mercy of
I'm
man.
taking notes.
Oh, you didn't know? From this is from when we talked when we talked at our pre-interview.
Oh yeah.
I take notes. I take notes. So a question that comes to mind. So, and I've told you this before. I do couples counseling, among other things, and ironically, I get a lot of the foreign couples, the
Okay.
Indian couples, Korean, Asian. I get the West Indian couples because they have the strong hierarchy. And me personally, I think it's important to understand that. So I'm not going to go into couples counseling and say, well, you should act American. Well, if you were doing things a certain way for 30 years, I'm not going to expect you to, adhere to an American kind of ideology for relationships.
Right.
So the understanding that we have of arranged marriages is one that they're bad, and I'm not. This is just me what I've been told, and I'm letting you
Yeah.
debunk these myths. They're bad. Um, Not all the time, but most of the time. 13 years old, they're with their husband. 40-year-old men. I didn't know about the.
Well, that's been banned.
Okay.
Some people will try to do it, like the poor families and villages, but it's illegal to do that.
Okay.
And as far as like arranged marriages being bad, I don't necessarily think it's bad. I think it would have worked out had like everything I was taught like
Yes.
cut through, and if I wasn't like challenged by between the society I was living in and between and what my mom taught me. So I
And
think
and I just want to say I'm not saying they're bad. I'm saying what I was taught. But
right,
when you actually have to, because you have to work from I've worked with a lot of couples that are traditional Muslim. They 5 pillars of faith. They do Eid and they do Ramadan and they do the
right.
fasting. And I've had to adjust schedules and they were surprised. I knew. I was like, oh, you celebrate? They were like, I was like, well, do I go through it? No, but I have to have an understanding
Right.
of the differences as well as the similarities.
Mhm.
you know how do you find that it was listening to them talk? Hold on 1 second.
Um,
How do you find that it was? You hear
listening
me?
to them. Yeah, yeah, I hear you.
Okay.
Listening to who
how do
talk?
you how do you find the struggle between, like you said, I won't call you a feminist, we'll call you like a nouveau feminist,
Okay.
because you did challenge a lot of traditional, like the man is right, and Indian culture, correct me if I'm wrong, is very hierarchical and very
Mhm.
patrilineal, right?
It can
So
be.
how did you find how you were kind of developing as a Beyonce, strong I'm a survivor, strong independent woman versus the traditional and what was expected of you?
I think I like my culture. I like
Mm-hmm,
it's a beautiful culture. It's just
mm-hmm.
there's certain things that don't work for me. And
Mm.
as a teenager, I've been hurt a lot, and I took what I liked and I decided what didn't work, I'm just gonna let it go. And over time, I kind of learned like a lot of immigrants, they move out of their country, right? Because they want what's better for them. They want something different for their kids because it doesn't like where they were living before, it doesn't work for them, right?
Mm.
And I kind of just thought about that. Like that's what I want. I want something different. I want something
Mm-hmm.
that doesn't make me feel vulnerable or weak or
Mm. Mm-hmm.
like I can't survive on my own.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know
You
about
also you also said that um, you've been subjected and around a lot of trauma due to men, right?
yeah.
And that for a while, and you can go into it as much or as little as you want to,
Mhm.
you were being taught to learn your place in the bay, and what you were kind of what was growing and bubbling in you was that your disdain for that idea that you just have to be under a man.
Right. That's what I was learning, and that's what I decided I was going to defy. And I developed a lot of issues with it. And
Mm-hmm.
later, I was kind of diagnosed with PTSD and um,
Mm-hmm.
depersonalization disorder. But
Ooh.
it's a way of coping, and that's something
Mm-hmm.
I learned. And I think we all have our skeletons, right?
Mm-hmm. 100%. Someone, at least you like your family. So you had told me you're Indian and Guyanese. You're
Hmm.
full-blooded Indian, technically, your words, but you didn't
Yeah.
fit into the caste system.
I don't fit into the caste system.
Tell me about the caste system and tell me why you're
I
a
feel it's a
square peg.
stupid system, honestly, because
Mm-hmm.
if you boil it down, it's like, at least to my understanding, if anyone else knows about it, they can correct me. But to my understanding,
Mm-hmm.
it's like everyone has, if they fit in a certain place in society,
Mm-hmm.
and it's people stay within their religion and they stay within their caste, which is kind of like
Mm-hmm.
in the same class as someone in, or it's the equivalent in our society, the Western society.
Mm-hmm.
And for I think it's stupid, and my parents, it didn't work out. Like I didn't fit into the caste system. My mom didn't fit into the caste system because my mom's family is Muslim, and
Mm.
my dad, his family is Hindu, and they were very traditional.
Mm.
I think all of this is out now, to my
Mm-hmm.
understanding, so it's no secret.
Mm-hmm.
My mom converted to being Hindu after she got with my mom, no, with my dad, but
Mm-hmm.
uh, she was still never accepted into the family because it was a
She,
conversion. It wasn't something that she was born into.
she's not real Muslim, a real Hindu.
Yeah, she's not real Hindu.
Real Hindu. A couple I worked with actually, they were Muslim, and what happened is the husband was Egyptian Muslim, but he
Mhm.
was born in Egypt.
Okay.
His wife, that was her lineage, and I think she had maybe her parents had been born there, and she was born here. So that same kind of division where they would get into arguments, and oh, you're not a real Egyptian Muslim anyway.
Yeah.
And I was just like, and again, in the complexities and the nuances, I don't understand all of it, and it's not knocking it. I
Mhm.
find it interesting, but it's the same way as, you know, there's colorism in the black culture,
Right.
light skin, dark skin, this skin, blah, blah, blah,
There's
blah, blah.
colorism in Asian culture too.
Oh,
They have like those bleaching products that are like so strong and so
mhm,
popular.
mhm. Because people aren't okay with being who they are.
I went to India like
You went
four
back?
years
They let
ago.
you back in?
I'm playing. I'm just joking.
I went to crash a wedding.
Oh, I like it.
Actually, no, I went for my cousin's wedding, but they were kind of separated from the rest of the family because of their color, their skin color.
Hmm.
And anyway, I went, I had a good time, and I learned a lot of things, but I forget where I was going with this.
We were talking about colorism, and you said they were
Oh,
separated.
I learned that in our family, there was like this whole colorism thing going on where the people who were dark skinned were left out, and the people who were light skinned were cared for the most and were the most wanted. And the other thing I learned, well, I got a lot of grief from relatives because I was like, I was going to lay on the rooftop in the sun. I was like, oh, this feels so good.
Right. And and they thought you were
And they're
trying to
like,
be
you're going to get
darker.
black. And I'm like, let me roast. I'm getting
Mm.
all my sun in.
Uh-huh. And it's interesting. You get that, and there's always that preconceived notion.
Yeah.
Um, those preconceived notions. So again, you can go in as much as you want to or don't want to into this. One of us said during the pre-interview that you were called ugly and untamed and didn't know how to be a woman.
Yes.
Tell me about that.
Um, it was a way I was prearranged to someone,
Mm-hmm.
and I told him that I did not want to marry him.
Mm-hmm.
I was quite mischievous. I
Mm-hmm.
would find a way to have it done. Like whatever I wanted, I would find a way to escape it and
Mm-hmm.
defend myself. And
Mm-hmm.
I told this guy, like, because before we left, we had like a little ceremony just making agreements on when I would go back to get engaged to him and when we would get married. And I had a talk with him because my family wasn't hearing it. And
Mm.
I told him I would make his life miserable till death do us part.
Um, I
So
mean, I
he
heard that one.
basically told my parents that I was this. And because his parents wanted it for the both of us. Our parents actually together made this agreement. They were like, okay, this guy and our daughter is going to get married for sure. Nothing's going to change that. This is our plan, our wishes. Our children will not defy us. And yeah.
Mm. So we're gonna jump ahead a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
We went to India until we were 15. Culture shock, like total
Yep.
culture shock, because it was just different. I imagine it had to be different.
It was a culture shock coming back too.
I was just about to say you came back to the United States, but you came back to the Bronx. And I'm not knocking the Bronx, but it was
It
like
was
you
a
didn't come
different kind of violence.
you didn't come back to Long Island or
No.
Mayberry, so to speak. You came back to
I
the
came back to the
hood.
Bronx. I was terrified. I felt
Yeah.
like I did not belong anywhere for the longest. It took me
Mm.
6 years to just adapt and be okay.
You were unplaced. You felt unplaced.
I felt out of place. Yeah.
Mm. And Jimmy, you have every kind of side in your family. Hello, Jimmy.
Hi, Jimmy.
Yes, Jimmy, we're not going back because you decided to be late. Meena has kids to get to. So you came back,
Mhm.
and how is it when your parents are still kind of moving in that traditional mindset, so to speak, for the most part,
Oh,
but
they
then you're
kept
here.
looking.
Mm,
They
they
kept
kept.
looking. And because I had anxiety coming back, I went to a small school, a small public school, and camping and backpacking was a requirement to pass because I wasn't doing I wasn't
Jim.
able to participate in gym. And I did yoga as well. And I did
Mm,
it every weekend, and every time there was a holiday, I was camping and backpacking. So my parents would make these plans for me, and I would just disappear. I became like a pro at packing 2 weeks of clothing into a backpack and just going like a regular day going to school.
and this went on from 16 to 20, right? As you said, I quote, avoided my house.
Yeah.
And that's not atypical teenage behavior.
No, I think as teenagers we kind of want to find
Hmm.
ourselves and we rebel and all of that stuff. But I felt like for me, this was like a life or death kind of thing, and I did not want to spend like I didn't want to share my bed with a strange man.
Mm, it's true. I don't either. I don't blame you.
It's like no. I
Eh,
wasn't even thinking about sharing my bed with any man, so it's like
were you even in a mindset to be prepared for marriage? Because this is, 15, they're talking about 2 years.
so the way like my parents had raised me, I kind of felt like this was the order of things. They told me pretty much that love didn't exist until after you get married. And
Hmm,
yeah,
that's interesting.
I actually believed them for the longest. And then it was like love doesn't exist at all. So I don't care about getting married. Um, but
Hmm.
yeah, I was not in the mindset of getting married.
Mm. So this ran you into some things because you were ready for college, right? You you were thinking college, and your parents were thinking,
Marriage. Yeah, they were like, "You're a girl, you need a man." Basically, they're so old school and
mm,
they were terrified of a girl like not being supported by a man.
mm,
At least
mm,
that's what they knew, so I don't fault them for that.
mm,
I was angry at the time, I'm not gonna lie, but I don't
mm,
like hold it against them. But times are changing and they kept thinking about getting married and I was like, nope. So they would set up dates and like they would talk to these boys. I went through like 5 suitors and
What's that like? Because most of us humans,
mhm.
um, that don't have the advantage of being pretty, how do you deal with? I mean, what's it like? Because most of us, struggle to talk to one. You had They were like, "Oh, hey, let me march." They were marching people to meet you.
um terrifying.
Mm,
Yeah, it's like I said, I wasn't thinking about like getting with anyone or
mm.
um
Matt, bring up what Jimmy said.
marrying them. Who are you calling princess?
Like you like a princess. You brought suitors like a princess.
Yeah, I there was one guy out of the bunch who knew the right things to say, but he wanted to live in the village, and I was like, "Nah,
In
I
the
got
city?
many dreams."
And,
He wanted to live in the village, in his place.
oh God,
And I was like, "Nah, I'm
so
too
much.
qualified for this."
Mm.
And I
And
was talking to one guy, and I was starting to like him, but at the time I was working at Starbucks, and I was doing sales, and I learned how to pitch and sell stuff, and it was Matt. I learned how to pitch and sell stuff, and I was pretty good at it. And this guy, he
mm,
was doing something the same way, and it became a game of who was the better bullshitter until we tied the
mm,
knot.
mm,
But at least if he was better, he would have fooled me, and I would have married him.
mm.
But if I was better, I would have said bye.
What happened?
um, I won, of course.
Mm,
The holidays were coming up, and I was working, and my dad and my mom, they went to India one
mm,
vacation with their friends, and they met this boy and his family, and they were like, "Oh, he's nice." And they told me about him, and I took his number, and I called him at 3 in the morning before going to work, and we would have conversations, and it was nice. I liked his voice. I don't know what he looked like, and I was like, "Okay, whatever." And I was trying to prepare myself. We would have conversations, and it was going
mm,
okay. And then the holidays came up, and he said, that he did not want me to work anymore. He didn't want me to go to school because I had exams to take, and I told him I can't call him for the next 2 or 3 days. And we got into huge arguments, and he was like, "I'll pay for your bills." And I was like, "Your rupees can't pay for my bills calling you." It
Wow.
can't.
Your
Like,
rupees can. Ooh, the
no, your
shade. You a
rupees can't pay for
savage.
my dollar bills. Like,
Wow.
um, no, at the time, like what he was making converted would have been like what part of my phone bill calling him was. So, like, no, it wasn't gonna work.
Wow.
He did not like hearing that. He told my parents that they needed to teach me how to be a girl, a woman.
They came to teach you how to be a woman.
Yeah. He also said that they needed to lock me up at home. And my parents were like on board with him because we were talking and they all jumped the gun and got excited, like, oh, she's giving him a chance.
But you were playing the game.
I was playing the game for sure.
Wow.
But
So
then my brother has found out about him, and I told him he's going too fast, too far too fast, and he didn't like to hear that either. And he started threatening me. He started threatening my family's reputation and all of that. My brothers caught him, and they said they did not want him as a brother. So my parents dropped it.
what, did they say it verbally or did they say it physically?
No, they said it verbally. This fellow's
Let me
in
find out.
They're
Let me
like,
find out.
they're like,
Meena getting the goons after people. I like it. So, so you graduated from high school at 21 because apparently you were not very smart or
No,
playing the
I was
game.
not. I was plotting my escape.
Yep, you said you were saving up money to run away.
Yep.
Where are you going to run away to?
I have no idea. California.
Oh. You were trying to find your
Hawaii.
own way, you said, right?
Somewhere they can't drive to, you know?
Oh. And your parents were adamant about you getting married right out of high school, so you delayed it and you graduated when?
2010.
And what how old were you?
I was 21.
You were 21. And now what happened? You're 21, you're graduating, and they dragged you out.
No, they didn't drag me out. They went to India. At the time that I was talking to this fellow, I was also talking to my husband online. And we were just friends, but I was like, okay, he could be like my my imaginary boyfriend because he's like all the way in France and he's never gonna move here for me or whatever. And I could just say I have a boyfriend, like but it got serious and I ended up moving out with him.
To France?
No, to Manhattan.
Oh, he came here.
He did come here.
For you. If you're feeling like a pimp, go and dust your shoulders off. Meena's a pimp too. Go and dust your shoulders off. Amazing. So one more amazing quote that one of us said. You became the bad guy and the source of all of your mom's problems in her life.
Oh yeah.
Tell me, please, elucidate.
I think my mom, she didn't really understand, and mental health is something that we didn't really pay much attention to. And a lot of us need it. A lot of us have gone through our troubles and we just like learned to push it aside, sweep it under the rug until there's no more room and it just blows up. And I think that's kind of what happened with my mom. Like she went through her own traumas. I'm sure a lot of like people have. she just kept moving forward. She just didn't take time to acknowledge like what she went through, take time to heal or anything like that. And she didn't want to hear it. She just wanted to keep going.
Mm.
And things became my fault.
And then
Because
you
I
became
was
the
in
reason for
between her
all.
plans.
You were ruining her plans.
I was kind of ruining her plans.
Interesting that she planned your whole life for you before you even had a chance to be in it.
I don't fault her for that. I know that
Mm.
she's scared.
Ooh, scared of what?
Well, she was raised differently from how I was raised. Well, I'm not gonna say that she raised me differently. I'm gonna say like I grew up in a society where I see strong women, but she didn't have that. She grew up in Guyana where it was different.
Mm-hmm.
In a village in Guyana, so I can't really
Mm-hmm.
be mad at her. She didn't
She didn't know any better.
see or know any different. How can you know different if you don't see it?
Wow. That's true.
It's like it's kind of like brainwashing in a way, right? If you're kept isolated in one place and you only see a certain kind of scenario, you kind of believe this is the norm. This is what you're supposed to go through.
Interesting. All of that stuff is very intriguing. So let's move back to today.
Okay.
Now, you spoke to Francois.
Ah, Francois, are you here?
You spoke to Francois. You guys developed a relationship. You have 2 kids together.
Yep.
30 and 40, right?
What?
What's your older daughter, 8 or 9?
Nah, she's 11.
She's 11. And then the younger one is how old?
She's 2.5.
Whew, you're my hero. 11 and 2.5. So how is it actually being in a marriage that wasn't arranged?
I feel I don't know. I mean, it's my first marriage, right? um, we have our troubles, but we work through it.
Mm-hmm.
He's very sweet. He's supportive. We love each other. We try to do as much as we can for the kids,
Mm-hmm.
our girls,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, I think it works out. It's better than. It's not scary to come home, you know.
Not scary. That's good.
It's actually someone I do want to share my bed with.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
And we know you've done it at least twice because you have 2 kids. So how did we 7 years ago you became a massage therapist? You had this epiphany that you want to work with prenatal, perinatal, be a birth doula. How was it bringing life into the world as a doula?
It's magical. It's amazing, you know. You get
No,
to
I don't know, and I don't want to know, but I'll take your word for it.
I because I'm like a massage doula, I get to work with these women during their pregnancy and they would go through certain pains and I actually know the anatomy as to why and I can help them through that so that they're comfortable during their pregnancy.
Mm-hmm.
And then during their birth, it's amazing to see like life happening.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, nah, it's
So
not.
amazing. Seen it twice, and I think I've gotten my fill for life with that, but I've heard it's amazing. What is more rewarding, working with the women or bringing the babies into the world?
The
And
women.
oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, babies are cute and all that. I have two.
Right.
But what I feel is the most rewarding is that in my experience,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like women don't really get enough support. And a common thing, like so many women go through issues like chronic pain after they give birth and they don't know why, and then they're like, oh, it's because I had kids, this is a sacrifice I have to make because I had kids. And it's not true. It's like a bodily imbalance that you can correct through different modalities and different sources.
Look at you. Go ahead, talk your shit, girl. Go ahead, keep going.
Well, I'm in school for PT. That's
you're being to be a PT now.
Well, I went back to college. I have to start over though because none of my credits transfer.
But are you starting over, or are you adding to the wealth of knowledge?
Well, I'm adding to the wealth of knowledge, but
you're not starting over.
It's like 5 years. But anyway, it's a lot of things that I learned
already
now.
So it's easy.
Yeah, it's easier. But I think the most rewarding part is helping the moms figure out why they're having the pain, like helping them figure out who they should see for support. If I can't do it, then, there are other resources, other people that are well equipped to help them. And yeah, I like that.
Is that the next step? Is that the ceiling, or is that the bottom rung? PT.
I think PT it's the next step for me.
Huh?
Yeah.
Good answer. You got a lot of sparkle in you. Don't let nobody dull your sparkle. So tell me about your business. Tell me about how you came up with it. Tell me the correct way to pronounce it. All of the things.
So it's calm. Just like in English. It just has the E because I feel like I've been jinxed by the French. Clearly.
Is it jinxed? It's love.
Yeah, it's love.
She saved you from you. I love it.
But it was also like the name I came up with because I was asking clients I was seeing at the time, like, why do they keep coming back? And they said that every time they came back, they felt a sense of calm. I was like, oh, that's what I'll just call it. I'll just call it calm. I don't know what else to call it. And it was a spur of the moment thing.
So one of us during the pre-interview, don't you hate that I take notes, said that you were really shy. At what point did that shy transfer or change to kind of like calmness and putting out that calm?
I think the shyness came more from the anxiety, and I would try as much as possible to stay away from people. And then I realized in my practice, I'm just working with one person at a time. And it was okay. And then the more I knew about anatomy and physiology, the more comfortable I felt about what was going on and being around people and what could happen and how to deal with it. There was also ethics classes too. And I felt with like a year in, I felt it was going to be okay.
What is your greatest challenge right now? Parenting, school, or work? Or marriage?
Parenting.
Okay.
I think my marriage is kind of like on the back burner. It's not a bad thing though.
It is a bad thing.
It's okay. There'll be a spark at some point, but it's hard. You have a toddler. And then...
I want to keep calling him Francois.
His name is Ben.
Oh,
Ben, can you say hi?
Hi, Ben. I'm sorry for calling you Francois. I don't know if that's or not. I don't want to cast a pejorative light.
They want to see you.
Hello, sir.
You stole my heart.
How you doing?
Good, thank you.
Excellent. Say hello to the people in French for me.
Bonjour tout le monde.
Woo! That was sexy. I like it. I like it.
You have a
Okay.
good.
Thank you, sir. I see why you.
What?
Good looking man.
Yeah, I think
I like it. I saw the giddiness. See, the spark's not gone. So we're gonna divert from that for 2 seconds.
mm-hmm.
The easiest way to keep the spark, and I can't, is date night. Schedule it.
We try.
Don't try. Yoda
Sometimes
said,
last
"Do
minute
or do
changes
not."
happen.
There is no try.
Okay.
You can do it. Right? That's what I'm saying. Do or do not. There, we could talk more about it off screen.
Okay.
Yes, Meena has hired me as a consultant for Com. She hasn't. I'm just saying that. So parenting, how is it being a working full-time business owner, mom, wife?
I have dreams. I want to open a spa.
You don't have a spa?
No, I have a practice.
Oh, you have. Oh, you're talking about like a full-service spa?
Like a full service spa. Actually, it wouldn't be a spa. It's more of like a wellness center.
Mm-hmm. So you would do all of the wellnesses, though.
No, I would hire people to help me. I would have like a whole team.
Okay, that sounds fun. Would you PT there or massage there, or do you incorporate the massage into your PT?
I would incorporate it. Just like I do now with my doula and massage.
Mm.
And my massages are all incorporated with many different modalities because you can't really stick with one. And I feel like some people who try me, they either love it or they hate it. Like and that's okay, you know? Um it's just like our beliefs kind of have to align.
Mm-hmm. They do align.
Movement.
I love it. Look at you, growing up right before our very eyes. So let's see. What else do I want to know? What else do we want to talk about? So as you move forward with Com,
Mm-hmm.
what do you see for Com?
I see a center
Mm-hmm.
where families are supported. This is what I want to do. I want to bring that Eastern culture into New York.
Oh, please. Oh, please do. I'm a big proponent of, I don't mean that in a bad, I mean that in a good way.
Like the good stuff, you know, there's no arranging anyone to anyone, but like the good stuff. All the support and the love, the community.
Mm-hmm. He's not here, but one of my friends is a meditation teacher, and I incorporate some of his his yoga and his meditation into my sessions now,
Mm-hmm.
because I find now that it's so much more need for holism. There's
Yeah.
much more a need of mental, therapy. You need to talk about stuff, but you also need to be exercising to some extent and moving. You also need to be getting massages. You also need to be, how are you relaxing your spirit?
You need to love yourself more.
Of course you do.
Like living here,
I love
everyone's
me.
just running everywhere,
Yeah.
just trying to get things done like headless chickens, right?
But that's what we do.
That's what
We do in New York, right? That's what you see, people that are speeding to get from one red light to the next red light,
Mm-hmm.
honking and beeping and all that stuff.
Now, like, people are stuck on their phones while they're walking or going up and down the stairs or, you know.
It sounds like you're talking about connectivity. People aren't connecting.
Yeah, I know.
How much therapeutic practice do you use when you're doing stuff? Because you're working with women for months probably, and you're probably hearing all the stress and the loss of this and the too much that. And how much of that kind of therapeutic milieu do you use, or do you encounter?
What do you mean?
You talk about the pain and helping and being support and being there for somebody.
Oh,
If
for
there's
me?
for them,
Yeah.
how are you therapeutically there for people? I know you're
Well,
not a therapist,
for
but
my prenatal clients, they have full access to me, so they can text me or call me. If I can't answer, they can text me and I'll answer them back, and call them whenever they need, or as soon as I can, pretty much. And for like my massage clients, it's like if they have something I can't help them with, I'll help them figure it out and direct them to someone that can help them.
mm,
And yeah, I can't
mm.
diagnose anything,
It's
but
not
I can
about
definitely
diagnosing.
like direct them to someone who can give them better support.
So how do you help them? I come in, I'm super depressed. I'm 8 months pregnant. I'm feeling crappy because I'm getting sick again. Oh, Meena, I don't feel good. I'm tired. I'm over this. I want to get this baby out of me. Help me.
So 8 months pregnant, depressed, I would probably use some aromatherapy.
Oh.
There's like sandalwood or lavender that's really soothing, calming. There's also like another scent that
I did
I
that
use.
calming. I see you. I see what you did.
Another
Double.
scent that I've used is like an orange mixed with lavender, and some moms say that they find it making them feel happy.
Mm-hmm.
I also like to incorporate acupressure because acupressure. It's like acupuncture but without the needles.
Tell me, how do you do that?
Acupressure? You would like so in the Chinese system there are meridians. Actually, in Indian system there is too.
Okay.
Most Eastern healing systems there is meridians, and there are points that you can press or stick needles in. And acupressure, we would just press them. So I would do acupressure points that will help them calm down or relieve certain pains or help with labor, stuff like that. And then I would also incorporate like stretches, gentle stretches that are supported, and a firm pressure massage.
Firm pressure massage.
Yeah, no one wants to be rubbed down with oil. It just does.
Why not? That sounds amazing.
I'm not rubbing anyone down with oil. I'm sorry. I'm going to give you firm pressure. And if you want deeper, I'll go deeper.
But you don't use oil or anything like that?
I do use oil.
Oh, you're saying nobody? They're not. I'm confused to nobody.
Nobody wants oil like lightly rubbed on them.
Oh. I
I
don't
want to
care.
feel something right.
How do you then? So I'm a little Indian Guyanese girl that comes up to you. Meena, you inspired me so much. I'm so I love what you do. How does that make you feel?
Happy, I guess.
Happy, you
Inspired
guess.
to do more.
To do more what?
I guess to push it farther. But for me, it's like my daughters are my inspiration, and I want to inspire them.
You want to inspire them to do what you do? What if they want
No,
to?
I want to inspire them to dream big and go for it.
What are they going for?
Whatever they want. I'll support them. Just dream big. Like, don't go for something small. Like, dreams are limitless.
Dreams are limitless. Look at you dropping all these jewels today. When are you going to write the book about your experience?
I have no idea.
What do you mean you have no idea? I know an author. I know an editor. I know a publisher. I know a guy who's a publisher that can help you.
Okay, I'll work on it.
You'll work on it. Those games don't work with me.
You know, life is happening, right?
That's part of your life.
Every day.
Part of taking ownership of it.
Jimmy says something about all medical actors should be. I'm wondering referring
Pop
to.
it, Matt. Can you put up what Jimmy said, please, sir? That's all medical. I think he meant doctors.
Oh, I'm not a medical actor.
I think he meant, but Jimmy's. Let me explain to you about Jimmy. Jimmy's typically wrong when he says all things, and he usually struggles with life. No, but he has typos because he's got a lot of stuff going on. Actually, I'm a little concerned about my friend Jimmy. I've been reaching out to him, but people that I'm usually snarky with are surprised when I'm nice to them.
Okay.
And it's okay because I'm annoying and I'm a jerk.
I don't believe that.
I am. I'm not to you because you're very nice. You wouldn't respond to that. Uh-huh. I know. So, all right, as we bring it home, what religion, if any, are you raising your children? Are they Muslim? Are they Hindu? Are they other? Are they Christian? Are they Jewish?
No, we're not raising them as any religion.
Good for you.
We just want them to know that religion exists, but not raising them to follow any. No offense to any of the religious people. I remember some people tried telling me that my life would be better if I just prayed to a God. And I'm like, tell God to come meet me and have coffee with me, and then I will pray to him. But until then, I don't have time.
Interesting. Greetings from Argentines and kisses, guys. All right, sure. I don't know what that means. Do you know who that is?
No.
Okay. Well, that might be somebody being silly. I'm trying to think if there's any more calm questions. I have any more questions. I want to see. Give me 1 second. Matt, can you just let me know in the private chat if you got the slate to add into the thing to put up? All right. Perfect. So, have any last question? Oh, have you checked out Miss Marvel? Because I think you should.
I will check it out. I haven't.
Check it out, and this is why I'm telling you.
Is it something the girls can watch too?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's on Disney Plus.
Okay.
It's a Marvel show. They don't even say any bad words. It might be PG.
Okay.
She is the first Indian superhero, but they actually try, from what I've seen, to adhere to like a lot of the cultural traditions. I believe an Indian writer wrote it, and it's an Indian female that directs it.
Okay.
So a lot of the struggles with like identity and kind of trying to find that hybrid in the United States, because the parents are traditional and stuff. So mom wants her to be traditional. They go to the mosque and they do all of that, and there's separation with the partition between the male and the female side and all the stuff that I'm sure you've been through before.
Yeah.
And I like that they depict it. A couple of the girls actually wear the hijabs in school and stuff like that. So I think it's good to see that. Because you don't see that. Check it out. What are you looking at? You're laughing at me. Anyway, last question. If you could be any superhero or supervillain, who would you be and why? And if you don't have a person, what superpower would you want?
So I don't remember too well, but years ago, I took this stupid quiz or it's not stupid, it's a silly quiz. I took an OkCupid to see which super villain I would be because, of course, I was rebelling against my parents, and I got poison ivy.
You know why poison ivy is interesting too? Because she does a lot of stuff with plants and aromas and all that stuff, and that's kind of like the basis of her power. I mean, she is evil. I can see it, though. I like that. Poison ivy, Meena.
But if I were to be a superhero, or if I had a superpower, I'd probably be flying.
You'd be flying. Miss Marvel flies. I'm just saying.
I love traveling.
Oh, where would you want to travel to next?
Let's see. I would like to go to Hawaii at some point.
Ooh.
I would like to go to Thailand. I practice Thai massage, but I've never gone to Thailand to get like an authentic Thai massage. So that's something I want to experience. I'd like to go to Australia.
Ooh. I'd love. Side note:
Mhm.
there's only two places I would want to go. I'm not big on traveling. If I could go to Australia, that would be amazing, and if I could go to England, that would be amazing. Those are the two places I would want to go. Australia would be amazing. I think that would be.
Why England?
I don't know. I've always wanted to go to England. It's newer on my list. I like the
Okay.
British culture. I don't know. I think that's cool. I wouldn't want to go. Hawaii. I feel like the United States. I mean, Hawaii. Yeah, whatever. It's an island. It's nice.
You know, I spent most years in the US, but I've only been to Alaska and Texas outside of New York. Whereas in
Really?
yeah, I've been all over South India and the middle of and central India. I've been to France, I've been to Spain, I went to Ireland even. But yeah, I haven't traveled much in the US.
Okay. You got to go to the southern states. You probably like those.
Yeah, I want to try a beignet.
Oh.
I had a French one.
Oh, that's right. You guys got to go to
Mardi Gras.
Louisiana. I was gonna say
Yeah.
that would be great.
Yeah, it would.
He speaks French fluent.
Yeah, he's from France.
I didn't know if he lived there. If he's from
Yeah,
there.
he's from France. I took him away from there.
Parlez-vous français?
No, I just understand it.
You don't learn the language?
No, okay, here's my trouble. I learned as a kid, I was learning Hindi, Sanskrit, and Malayalam. And then in high school I learned Spanish, and I had like conversational Spanish. And then when I met him, I started learning French, and then all of it got jumbled, and I don't speak fluent anything.
So you can speak broken.
Kind of, yeah.
All right, cool beans. I
I
like
can
it.
understand a lot.
I want you to start having a conversation in French.
Will you understand what I say?
No, not at all. That's not the point. Because once you learn French, then you can learn Creole, and then you can learn Spanish again, or you can even learn Latin and learn Spanish. And once you learn Spanish, you can do Italian. Listen.
So I started taking French in college this time
Oh.
because I do require a language. So it's like, I'll do French.
Good. He can help you.
I look forward to being able
that's another spark thing. You see what I did there? I filled that in. I got you. All right. Meena, thank you. I don't want you to sign off. So
Okay.
you stay there. You hang out. All right, peeps. Thank you for tuning in to Everyday Experts. Like I said, July, we have my friend Monique, who's a nurse. She's a financial advisor. She's a social worker. I think she's done all of the things. She'll be on July 9th. And then Asya, part 2, July 23rd. We're going to find out about her relocation and, kind of how it is adjusting being Muslim in North Carolina. So, let's see. What do we got to say? Listening to Meena talk, I sensed a lot of strength, which is the capacity of a person to withstand great force of pressure. And I think that your story, Meena, has been great, and you have a lot of strength, and I see that you're slowly unearthing it, and you should keep doing that.
Of course.
Thank you for joining the show.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. Thank you to my boy, our engineer extraordinaire, Mr. Munoz. Rob Fishback, I don't know where you are, shouting you out. You deserve a little bit of love. Monday is Glenergy, I believe, at 9 p.m. I'm not 100% positive, but I believe it's 9 p.m. The 24th, we have Mr. Danny Martinez is returning to Experts for Batman versus Joker match. It's not a match. We're just going to discuss. I'm reading a couple of comic books. We're going to see how that goes. All right. That's what. And Lager File is going to be premiering at some point this month with Mr. Nails in his debut episode. We have to sit down and talk about that. Thank you for joining Everyday Experts. As Joker says, be an anomaly. Joker out.